Okay. All right. Hey, shalom, Akim, shalom. First and foremost, as always, before we begin, we want to start off by giving all praise unto the Heavenly Father, Yahweh,
Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Bahashem, Bahakadash.
All right, as always, double honor to the apostles, the bishops, the elders of Great Millstone that have taught us His truth and that we're well. And peace and blessings go out to the hopeful members of the elect, scattered throughout the four winds of the earth, that are in the hopes of receiving salvation and mercy during the time of Jacob's trouble, and that are worshiping the Heavenly Father in sincerity, in spirit, and in truth. All right. Now, as you can see within the title of the lesson, pursuant to Isaiah 13:4, the Lord of hosts mustereth the host to the battle. All right. And pretty much in this lesson, we're going to be touching up on the topic that, brothers have been hitting this week. Ever since this whole Venezuela conflict came across, where you had America invade Venezuela and, pretty much capture the president. And now, by them justifying themselves by way of the Monroe Doctrine, now they're in a position where they're in full control of Venezuela. Not only are they going to be controlling Venezuela's, process of selling oil to other countries like China, Russia, Iran, and so much and so forth. But Venezuela is a country that's also founded within being in an organization called the Lithium Triangle. All right. And, as his brothers know, when it comes on to the set New World Order that Esau has coming forth, when it comes down to machinery, biometrics, AI, lithium is one of the key ingredients that he needs to bring forth this next industrial revolution, so to speak. So that's another factor as to why Esau took forth Venezuela. All right. And throughout this whole process of the heathen reacting to Esau doing this, it's been nothing more but a process of the Heavenly Father putting in the spirit in the heathen to prepare themselves for not only war, but to hate the whore, which is in the scriptures known as America, man. All right. So with that being said, the main thing that we're going to kind of build on is this video that you see queued up on your screen. All right. The beloved Elder Yashwamba did a lesson on it entitled the YouTube page's economic warning, entitled How Venezuela Became a Test Case for Power Politics. All right. And this dude pretty much explains the whole gist of what's the snowball effect of this whole Venezuela, charade. And brothers have anything they want to add before we tap into the video?
Yeah, this is all just subject to prophecy. And that's why the Lord's men are the most important. The message that's coming from the Lord's men is the most important, connecting the dot situation on the earth. Because we're able to tell you, as you see the geopolitical events happening on the earth and shifting powers. It's like, is that a echo on me?
Yeah, I don't hear an echo.
Okay, kind. Well, then if I just hear it, cool, it's good. As there's a shift in powers, and we're sitting here wondering who's going to be next. All right, prophecy ultimately ties it together so you understand, as an Israelite, so-called Negro, Latino, and Native American, Seminole Indian, West Indian, and Asian, as well as the Israelite foreigner, that the Lord is going to be the victor of this World War III. The Lord is going to be the next one that steps up, and sets righteousness on the earth as a kingdom,
That's right. Yep.
Matter of fact, can I get Psalms chapter 2 real quick?
Okay.
Wait, do you got Jeremiah 50 yet?
Yeah.
I get Jeremiah Psalms 2 then. You got that one?
No.
Okay, come. This is Psalms chapter 2 and 1. And it reads, why do the heathen rage and the people imagine a vain thing? You got it, Yaquab, if you want it.
No, break it down.
It says, why do the heathen rage and the people imagine a vain thing? The kings of the earth set themselves, and the rulers take counsel together against Yahweh and against the anointed, saying, let us break their bands asunder and cast away their cords from us. And what we're seeing right now, okay, from the illusion that they display on the TV, whether it's Ukraine and Russia shooting bombs over there right now, or Israel and whatever other Venezuela type of event that's happening on the earth. Okay, it's written here in the earth, in the scripture, which trumps what's happening on the earth. That they explain the way they explain it to you, because ultimately what it is the rulers of the earth are the elite bankers. You see, the elite bankers, starting with should I say, who are all Esau Edom, have an agenda, and that agenda plays out through war. You see, and what's happening right now is that they're thinking whether it's China or the next power to come up has to, meet the requirements. But yet, through the scriptures, we understand that it's vain. Okay, it's pointless, because as the scriptures has broken down all the kingdoms leading up to this point, we understand that this final kingdom, being Esau Edom's rulership, is about to be destroyed through World War III. And that's whether it's America on the Western hemisphere or it's Putin and Russia on the Eastern hemisphere with China and the allies of BRICS. Okay, and that's what we're slowly but surely seeing as chess pieces being moved to set up for the next ruler. Okay, but as we see that they're taking counsel together, so underlining all this war that's happening on the earth right now is the fourth industrial revolution. And that's exactly what's coming down the pipeline, to see who, whether it's China with his yuan, or America with the Bitcoin, or whatever it is that's coming up to be the next currency, all right, being established, is what we're recognizing right now. And it's all going to be culminated with the MOTB, which is Revelations 13 and 16. All right, the device that goes under your subdermally, under your hand, or into your forehead. Yep, and that's how selective. That's how they break the cords asunder. Because if Jake takes that, then you're gonna be you're gonna reject the Lord. So the Wadi Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai, just in these latter days, that we're able to see these chess pieces being moved and tie it to the scriptures.
Yep. Was that it in Psalms? Okay, so with that, we're gonna go into this video, and pretty much, the brother said a good amount of what this video is gonna tie in, which is the conspiracy of what a lot of these heathen are now coming up with, as they see America, or this great whore that sits upon many waters, doing its thing. Again, when you go into the set tides that Venezuela has within the world, they're very good friends with China and those countries that, like the brother mentioned, are part of BRICS. But since America made that move of taking Venezuela and now being the set authority of controlling who gets the oil, and now having to pay a tariff that Trump is going to eventually put on it, it's going to put them in a position where, like, well, damn, now we got to work around this nigga and then see, but this is doing nothing more but, like the brother said, fulfilling the Lord's will of mustering the host to the battle of the third one. So
and if I could say, this is a very big turning point,
right?
Because Esau Edom is doing what his blessing has been, which is, he has the fatness of the earth. And how does he take it? Via his sword.
Yep.
Okay, he's resorting back to default behavior because he's scrambling to get his shit in order, because he can see that everybody is plotting against him.
Right.
But this is where the other nations are going to show that they're now at a similar might as to America, and they're going to fight for Venezuela. Because in order for a third world to commence, they need resources. All right. Oil, war is expensive and requires resources. And as we're going to go into, the land that Esau Edom is trying to strategically take has and contains the things needed for a third world.
Right.
You got it, bro.
Yep. So let's play this video real quick. And then, of course, if brothers have any points you want to make, just interject.
For weeks, the headlines focused on one story: the airstrikes, the arrest, Maduro in handcuffs, oil reserves, legal debates about whether it was an invasion or law enforcement. But that phase is over. What we're watching now is something different, something that will matter far more than the drama of one Saturday morning in Caracas. Venezuela is no longer the headline. It's the case study. A case study for how the United States uses power, how China uses restraint. And
Right, and like brothers were, making mention within Trump taking Venezuela. All right, for us, we see that as a fulfillment of Esau just being Esau, and furthermore, it's showing to the world that the white man ain't that much of a good person. All right, because within that whole matter, it violated a lot of constitutional rights, man. They didn't. Matter of fact, real quick, I think I have it pulled up in one of my tabs. Might be on my phone actually. But yeah, man, within what America did to Venezuela, it rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. Yep, this is under AI overview. It says the invasion of Venezuela is considered unconstitutional because the president launched an offensive military action without a formal declaration of war or explicit authorization from Congress, violating the Constitution's War Powers Clause that reserves war-making power for the legislator.
Real quick. As we see this is true, understand that the Lord has given the earth into the hand of the wicked. So although Jake still likes to play by paper, going off the laws, regulations, and so much and so forth, just understand that prophecy trumps all of that. And although they put that facade in the forefront, like this is unethical. Hey, look, they've been working from this motive since they first established, since they came out the Caucasus Mountains. So the Lord has been the one that give them that blessing, as Yahweh now was speaking of. The Lord has been the one that allowed them to go into these different nations and colonize them and then bring forth what we commonly view the earth, as. So with that being said, understand with 100% surety, okay, that you can't do nothing to stop this, whether it's a bill that you vote for or marching for equal rights. Only Yahweh Shai could come back and correct this God, this demon. Let me say that. You got it out.
Yeah, right. But the point that I brought that out is because, again, we're starting to see Esau for who he really is throughout the four winds of the earth. The apostles have made this point years back, where there's going to come a point in time where people are going to see Esau by way of his actions, and this whole Venezuela thing is nothing more but the proof in the pudding, but within this whole event, it puts a lot of these other countries, like we mentioned of like Chile, Bolivia, and Argentina, in a position where they're like, wait, hold up, if this nigga's going to be moving like this, I gotta counter. Yeah, they gotta make moves, man. Because a lot of them are part of NATO, and as we're going to bring out later on in this lesson, Trump has been in the talks of him wanting to take Greenland, Denmark, and within that whole, position of what he's saying, it puts countries that are affiliated with the NATO to be like, what the fuck? Because NATO is an organization where all those countries are supposed to be protecting one another. But the way of how America, aka Babylon the Great, is conducting it, it's pretty much in a way of being like, you know what, I'm gonna take this, and that's it. Nobody can tell me nothing. I'm gonna just take it for my own benefit and do what I gotta do. And this is gonna fulfill what we're gonna get later on in this lesson of Revelation, the 17th chapter, of the horns hating the whore.
Okay, going really quick.
Yeah, you got it.
It'll go perfect with what you said. This is Micah 2:2 in the NLT. It says, when you want a piece of land, you find a way to seize it. When you want someone's house, you take it by fraud and violence.
Right. And again, we were speaking before we hit record. Esau, within this whole Venezuela event, is justifying himself by pulling up this old ass piece of paper called the Monroe Doctrine and pretty much saying like, look, because of this, we have full authority to do what we're doing. You know, and of course, what Partham just said a little earlier about Esau, you know, having the blessing of the fatness of the earth and the dew of heaven, we understand that, you know, but the earth doesn't, you know, they don't understand prophecy like we do. But when they see these certain events, it puts them in a position where they're like, damn, what the fuck? Yeah. You know, they marvel at the beast, like Revelation, the 13th chapter tells us. Go ahead, Ak.
It says, you cheat a man of his property, stealing his family's inheritance.
Yep, you want to say something?
And you know, it's crazy that Asher was, you know, that's Asher's oil.
Right.
You know, that's their oil, you know. They were supposed to have that for themselves. But here comes Esau, and here's mine. I have the fatness of the earth. I take via violence.
Right.
Just, you know, doing what he's been good at since he's been on earth, you know?
Right.
Come on.
Yep. All right, so let's let this Edomite keep talking, because he makes a lot of good points in this video that marry with what we understand by way of prophecy, man.
And how Latin America judges both. And here's what most analysts are missing. The operation handed China a propaganda victory. China calls for law and dialogue, while the United States bombs neighbors and threatens the region. Venezuela was
exactly what the brother just read. You know, Esau never knocks on the door, gives a warning. He just does it, you know, because of course he's been given the fatness of the earth. All right. But within this society that we live in, where he's put a covering cast all throughout the four winds of the earth, the heathen are starting to see the reality of what this dude is really about, man. You know, and like this dude's literally going to explain, they're not taking it too lightly, you know.
You got it right now. I want to show them.
I was just going to say real quick, these heathen are not on the spirit where they're gathering themselves up to prepare war against her.
Mm-hmm. And I just want to say, I saw this video, and you know, these Edomites are showing that, you know, they're the true gangsters. You know, that suit and the clean shaven face and the nice you know, vocabulary that they use is rubbing off.
The smooth words.
And this is what they see now. You know, it's kind of funny, but
you got it.
You know, it's an AI you know, Trump kind of his reaction.
Stole that.
Could they see it?
So out here. They can see it now.
It's like real quick.
That's what I do, nigga. Fuck, nigga, I stole that shit, and I stole it. Like, bro, but niggas don't understand. I talk facts. Vlad, I talk facts. Oh, you're right.
You know, and that's Esau, you know? He used to be that, you know, very political and having, you know, everything written down and very organized. And now it's very inefficient the way he just came in and just took everything, you know?
Right.
And that's how he's acting now, is he doesn't care anymore.
Yeah, that's Revelation 12:12.
Mm-hmm.
I'll get that real quick. That's a good point, though, bro, because, again, Esau's whole MO, going back to the garden, has been that of deception, you know, that of using witchcraft to beguile people into believing what he wants you to partake in, you know, but that authority and mechanism of using deception for his own benefit is something that he can't use anymore, man, you know, and it's getting to the point where he's just outlandishly doing it.
That's right.
So real quick, this is, and then we'll go back to the video. Or and brother's got any precepts as well.
Yeah,
this is
I got one after you. It's like you know, you want your single
okay, yeah. Let me go back like this. Oh shit. Come on. Yep, this is Revelation 12:12. It says, "Therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath." All right, and we're living in a time where Esau, again, he's showing his true colors of who and what he's really about now, man. You know, he's not sugarcoating anything. He's just killing people. You know, there was a press conference where they asked Trump, you know, if we were going to declare war, shouldn't it be something more constructive where we announce it? And he was like, no, we're just going to start killing people. You know, this is the spirit of what the Lord is putting within Esau, so that the gears of prophecy start turning quicker and quicker, man.
Yeah, because when you really consider it, Esau Edom only has one card to play. When the tricks, when all the threats, you know, when all the laws and legislations don't work, and there's still uproar of the people, and you still got, you know, people kicking against Esau Edom's agenda. All right, he has one card to play, and that's the same thing, starting with the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, that we have been harping on, you know, for the longest, is that Esau Edom is going to come down with carnality, because Revelation 12 and you know, Revelation the 12th chapter. You got that? Right?
Yeah, that's what I'm reading right now.
It's like it.
Yep. This is again Revelation 12 and 12. It says, "Therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants," as the spirit. It says, "Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knows that he has but a short time." You got it, Ak.
Yeah, Khan. And that short time is his whole rulership. And that's what Jake needs to understand, that he's had a certain amount of time to where he's created certain portals. You know, he's been doing all this left-hand energy, and it still hasn't worked. And just consider Project Looking Glass. When they understood that through all the algorithms and the equations that they put into this program, you know, it always came to a point of the Lord bringing an age of wokeness, as they would say, an age to where information, you know, the lies that they told was going to be dismantled. And who started that? You see, starting with Elder Abba Bivens, you know, all the way down to where we at today. That's who started it, as spoken of in 2 Thessalonians, you know.
Right.
Yeah.
So just, hey, man, the Wadi Yabashim Yahushai, that we understand that this is but, you know, for a moment, and we're at the end of this thing. And that's why you see the sloppiness. That's why you see the uproars. You know, it was a time where other nations didn't have nuclear bombs. All right. But now, as it says in Joel, the 3rd chapter, let the weak say that they are strong. So Esau Edom is still a bully on the block, and he's still a great power, which is what he puts forth through the everyday common U.S. citizens' mind frame, to where you at work and you have a conversation with these dudes, and they still think that America is big, tough, and, you know, going to last forever. But ultimately, prophecy tells us that, you know, these other nations is going to ditch this whore, all right, and burn her with fire, you know, because as they've been in league with Esau, they've only got the short end of the stick. They've only been told lies. There's only been extorted for the said resources they have in their lands, you know, for the said, that's it, you know, for all of that. So, yeah,
Right.
that's it.
Yeah, and that's a good point, bro. Because again, within NATO, a lot of countries are associated within that organization for the strict reason of being defended. You know, but as they see how America is moving right now, they're like, you know what? I don't think I should be here anymore. I don't think this is a good idea, considering how this nigga Esau is moving. You know, so that's gonna put a lot of those horns in a position where they start looking at other ways of how to defend themselves, and it's going to be by way of the chief house being Russia, man. All right, Ra'ash.
Brother, got anything? I got one. Is there any more?
You got anything, Mashapat?
Yeah, I'll go after Parth, though. You got
No,
it,
you
bro.
got it, Marshall Pot. Doing
Come on. This is real quick. This is the book of Psalms, chapter 55. Unless you have that precept out.
No, you got it.
Okay, come on. Psalms chapter 55 and verse 20. And it reads, "He hath put forth his hand against such as be at peace with him. He hath broken his covenant."
There
so
you go.
You know, just like how just like you brothers are bringing out, man. Like, we can even, we can go back in the ancient times, but I mean, this has just been, you know, the wicked's EO.
Yeah.
You know, this is what they've been put here to do. They're the vessels that have been made for destruction. They're going to do nothing but be, you know, go off, be wicked, you know, take things into that, you know, direction, so to say, when it comes to ruling the planet, you know?
Right.
So,
real quick,
you know, yeah, Con.
Yeah, no, I was just considering the pattern. This dude has a pattern in how you can apply this to how he treated Gad, how he treated Issachar. You know, when he came over here, he gave them certain laws and he broke every single one of them.
Everyone.
You got it out.
God, beautiful. And hey, that's focusing on the Northern Kingdom, and then also with the Southern Kingdom too. You know, a lot of Jakes haven't given that lie up. You know, Jake Jake. They don't let things go like that. But the two what was it, the 2 acres and a mule or whatever.
Yeah.
And, all that
40 acres
bullshit.
and a mule.
Yeah. 40 acres. Yeah, Salakia, 40 acres and I'm like 2 acres. Yeah, but all these little promises that were made, through treaties or whatever it might be, they've all been broken. That's literally been that's been his history, man, as a nation, But people, it's funny that with prophecy being fulfilled first and foremost, that these are the things that are happening now. It's on Front Street. No longer can, as I think it was the brother Yawana was saying, the clean face, the suits, the soft spoken words, the slick spoken, as a precept's going to go into. None of these things don't work anymore because prophecy needs to be fulfilled, and we're in those times that the wicked is going to be singled out, from everybody. Right. Finally,
Yeah. If I could add one point to what you just said too, bro, the heathen see who Esau is now, man. Revelation 20 and 8 tells us that Esau would go and deceive the nations, you know, and
That's
they've
right.
been deceived. Like Partham said earlier, within every transaction that they've made within being in the works with America, they would always get used and get the short end of the stick, But now we're living in a time where the Heavenly Father is showing Esau for who he really is, man. And the heathen are pissed off, and they're taking matters into their own hands where they start making moves. Right. This is why BRICS has its own currency that's built off of a true currency being gold, man. When you really consider how the American dollar has had influence throughout the whole world, and then out of nowhere you see these heathen making their own currency, it shows that these heathen are dissatisfied with how America is running things.
And if I could say, that is the reason why the first woe and the second woe started in the first place, was because little mustache guy literally went out and did speeches of how they were fucking everything up. And now the same thing is happening all over again, is that they're realizing that these little tops are the devil.
But he was talking mad shit about the little hats.
Yeah, Khan.
And he got a mustache too.
Yeah.
But Duro is damn near prophesying shit.
And this is why America took Venezuela, man. Venezuela has the most oil reserves in the world, and the fact that China was using that, and on top of that, China's working with Iran, who's using the yuan to convert it to oil. It shows that China was making moves, but this invasion of what they did to Venezuela kind of put China at a halt, and those gooks are mad as fuck right now, man. All right, along with their constituents that are in the same circle of trying to gain momentum within the currency, man. Because the U.S. dollar has a very large influence in the world. They can't get again with America now using Venezuela's oil, it's gonna be hard for them to get around it. So there's gonna be something to where the last straw breaks the camel's back of these heathen, and they start, losing their shit and taking matters into their own hands.
That's right. Yeah.
We're gonna read the next verse.
Yeah, Khan. Yep. This is Psalm 55 and verse 21, and it reads, "The words of his mouth were smoother than butter, but war was in his heart. His words were softer than oil, yet were they drawn swords." So, Khan, man. Yeah, I mean, we all remember, we live here in Babylon the Great, when, the current king right now, You know, when he was running for his position, what was one of the main things out of his mouth? He was going to bring peace. He was going to end all the wars day one. You know, he was going to make it a better place to be here in Babylon the Great. But what are we seeing? He's busy sending money over to different nations to help them out. He's stealing nations he's stealing nations and saying he's going to build them up. What about your own damn home? You know, what about this wicked ass kingdom that you rule over? The people, like, you know, the citizens of Babylon the Great are starting to see that their king is full of shit. He's all talk. And as the big dogs, you know, the big dogs that are outside, you know, the enemies of this nation, you know, the ones that Babylon the Great don't go and try to steal their nations, you know, they're the ones that are talking the most shit. They're bringing it out that, you know, your king is all, you know, he's all bark. He's got no muscle behind that bark when it comes to really, you know, getting down. So, you know, not only are the citizens, you know, the big dogs and the heathen nations are coming to find that this is the wicked of the world right here. This is the man that is going to plunge us into that third woe. Guaranteed. This isn't something that can be what's the word? This isn't something that can be debated. Let's just put it that way. Prophecy is coming to be fulfilled, and it's not tarrying, man. But Khan, yeah, that's it, brothers.
Like you read that last verse again. Last 22, read 22 as well.
Oh, Khan. This is Psalms 55 and verse 22, and it says, "Cast thy burden upon the Lord, Yahweh, and he shall sustain thee. He shall never suffer the righteous to be moved."
Yeah, because when you really consider it, all this has been prophesied. The motive of operation, as we keep saying, MO, you know, Jake needs to understand this is what it means. This is how Esau Edom gets down. All right. Throughout the establishment of the Greco-Roman Empire, he was doing the same thing. He was telling people peaceable words, but after that, guess what ensued? Death, slaughtering. Okay. And that's what he's doing. He got the nerve to say, this motherfucker said, Venezuela will be ruled by United States until I forgot what the word he used, but a worthy ruler comes into power.
Yeah, somebody suitable.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying. He said somebody suitable enough for them to put in there. Yeah. Yeah.
And what's suitable is what's going down with his it's called agenda. What's going down? Who's going to be with his agenda? Because guess what? Whether you got the wake-up call or not, Esau Edom has been given control over the whole earth, the four corners of the earth, you know? So as us being Jake, we need to cast our cares upon Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. Because as we see the collapse, as we see the judgment and so much and so forth, that's the best. That's your sure card to play.
That's right. Yep.
Yeah.
Done.
Was that it in that precept, Mashapa?
Yeah, Khan, that's it. I was gonna add, but I remember you brothers bringing that out, that you had it and you're gonna bring it out later in the lesson at Jeremiah 50, pertaining to that. You know, yeah, Khan. So yeah, you got it out.
So let's go back here to this video. We're gonna move up a little to the 4-minute mark, where this he starts breaking down certain events of what's gonna further expound on this whole Venezuela thing. So let's play it real quick.
Institutions and economic integration. Countries wanted to be part of the US-led system because it offered stability, growth, and predictable rules. That foundation is eroding. And what's replacing it is economic coercion backed by the threat of force. The United States now relies heavily on sanctions, courts, asset seizures, energy choke points, and control over financial infrastructure.
Right, and this is why, again, Trump did that to Venezuela, man. You know, he saw that the heathen were, fanning up their pockets and greasing up their wallets with that oil, and Esau didn't like that, So he went up there and used of course, his authority to take what's his, so to speak. You know?
And once again, Jake looks at that real quick. Jake looks at that as something unjust. But in the kingdom of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, there can only be one king sitting on that throne. And Esau Edom is that one that's sitting on that throne. So this isn't unjust. He could do as he pleased within his wicked ass kingdom. And that's what he's exactly doing. You know, that's it.
Yep.
I did have a
Before
precept,
data.
but I forgot that. Like,
Okay.
50% of low-income countries are under some form of U.S. financial sanction.
Right. And even going back during the first couple months of Trump's presidency, he was causing a lot of friction with the tariff wars, you know. And when you look at, the countries that were affected by it, a lot of them were countries that are found in NATO, To this day, a lot of those countries are catching hell because of it, And now, again, they're in the spirit where they're looking for different alternatives as to how to start picking up the pace, so to speak, to fix their country,
The U.S. imposes 3 times as many sanctions as any other country or international body. This isn't coalition building. This is pressure application. If you don't comply, you're cut off from dollar-based financial systems.
real quick,
If you try to bypass,
real quick, before we go into the dollar situation, that said act, of sanctioning. The elder apostle Tahar did a lesson today going into there's 2 Edomites that were speaking in the spirit, talking about all the blood. That's what the title of it, beareth his sword in vain. All the blood that Esau Edom has accumulated, it can't be, in order to wash it, it would take eternity. But in that said video, one of the things that these Edomites, when the spirit hopped on his ass to say was, the reason why America goes around and bullying people and punishing them and so much and so forth is because they have that old mentality of slavery on their brain. And that's what we're here to tell Jake, is that that sword is being furbished, and that perpetual hatred that Esau Edom has had has never left him, has never, for a second departed from him. Scripture says in the book of Romans that he doesn't bear his sword in vain. So as he's been blessed to have a blessing from Yahweh Shai, from Isaac to be in the sword, bro, you better use that blessing, and that's exactly what Esau Edom is doing right now. He's using his blessing of the sword to a T. So yeah, that's it. That's it.
Yeah, and this sword, as we always make this point, when it comes to the sword, that plays in the avenue of carnality. And pursuing the Romans, the 8th chapter, we understand what carnality brings, and it's nothing more but death, And this is the sentiment as to what's happening within Esau's kingdom, man. A lot of these countries that are founded within NATO, all right, the 10 horns, are feeling that squeeze,
Real quick, the word for sanction, it's a noun and a verb. I wanted to get the verb. It says confirm by sanction, make valid or binding. And that's exactly what Esau is trying to do, is validate the fact of him being the hammer of the earth. Validate the fact that he's wicked and all he could do is kill, steal, and destroy. That's exactly how he's got on his seat. So when you're in that mode and you're that vessel that the Lord is used for as his left hand, okay, that's all you're accustomed to doing. That's all you're fit to do, is to steal, kill, and destroy. But and that's what he's trying to do by these sanctions. He's trying to make it valid. It says or binding, to permit authoritatively, as in a general sense, give countenance or support to, approve, seemingly contradicting meaning, impose a penalty, and that's it. That's the gist.
Yeah, I have a quick precept to back up the point. This is Isaiah 14:6, and I think a brother in the chat posted the precept that speaks about the cruel Lord. That ties in within what we're speaking on, man. But real quick, this is Isaiah chapter 14, and I'll start at 6. I'm sorry, I'll start at 4, but the point is in 6. It says that thou shalt take up this proverb against the king of Babylon and say, how has the oppressor ceased, the golden city ceased? The Lord has broken the staff of the wicked and the scepter of the rulers. He who smote the people in wrath with a continual stroke. He that ruled the nations in anger is persecuted, and none hindereth. Reading it in the NLT, it says, you struck the people with endless blows of rage and held the nations in your angry grip with unrelenting tyranny. And this has been how Esau has been able to build up his kingdom, man. You know, through tyrannical motives, he's been put in a position where, yeah, he's all the way up here, you know, but his vassal states and all those that have helped him build what he has now are right here, you know, at the bottom, you know, all right? And it's putting these, again, in a position where they're like, damn, you know, we got to do something about it. And that's pretty much what this dude is explaining. You know, here it is within this whole, what do you call it, tariff war shenanigan. It was all done and said for the purpose of helping America, you know, but it didn't do nothing more but shoot America in the foot, you know, because by you putting tariffs on the goods that other countries import here, the cost of your everyday goods goes up, man. You know, and on top of that, the countries that are associated with NATO, the vassal states, in other words, are also affected by it, man. You know, so through Esau's you know, leadership, everything is getting fucked over. You know, and that's what is that precept in Proverbs? When the wicked beareth rule, the people mourn. You know,
he's messing with everybody's money. You know,
Right.
he's messing with the merchant's money.
Yep.
You know, if I could get this real quick,
Yeah, go
because
ahead.
I uploaded the video and had it you know, look through. It says basically the video argues that the U.S. has shifted from using a persuasion to coercion and military force, causing its historic allies to turn against it. The video at 2 minutes and 35 seconds. All right, Brazil, Colombia, Mexico, Chile, and Spain all issued a joint condemnation, and this was on the news. They all said, you know, in easy to understand words, this is some bullshit.
Yeah,
You know?
Esau, you the devil, pretty
Mhm.
much.
That's right, bro. It says this is described as a regional bloc response where neighbors now see the U.S. as a shared threat rather than a partner. All right. It says the
Damn,
European and Western allied powers beginning to hate the whore.
Damn.
All right. These nations will eventually realize that an alliance with
Did it
America.
say hate the whore?
Yeah.
Yeah, keep reading.
Yeah,
Read from where you you started.
It says these nations will eventually realize that an alliance with America is dangerous if and this is a quote from that video. It says, if we make decisions Washington doesn't like, what stops them from doing it to us?
So you got it. I'm sorry.
And that's the mentality that they now take on. If they were so politically unprofessional to attack Venezuela, how much more to one of us?
Towards us.
Yeah, the so-called allies, the NATO nations, the 10 horns.
Yeah, like it said, making an alliance with America is now a threat to us. You know, again, Venezuela, you know, here it is. It's the new year. They didn't expect that shit to happen.
Nah.
But Esau coming out of nowhere and taking what he wants, man. You know, and again, you know, just me thinking in the spirit, this is something that Esau is going to continue to do within this year, man. All right. Again, America right now has silver. Silver right now is going up at a very alarming rate. But a country that is known for having a lot of silver is Mexico. What do you think Esau is going to do? The same thing that he did to Venezuela. According to Esau's rhetoric, what does Mexico do? Mexico does nothing more but bring drugs, the cartel, whole reason that our society is so fucked up and strung out on these hardcore drugs is because of Mexico. You know what? Fuck it. Let's go kick their ass, and along that way, we're gonna just take their silver, and everything else that they got. Mexico makes chips as well.
Yeah.
Kinds
of shit.
So yeah, man, we're living in a time where again, the heathen are waking up to the reality of what has happened, and they're mad as fuck. Matter of fact, let's get that now in Jeremiah 50.
And so, like, real quick, the lesson that I was talking about from Elder Apostle Tahar on what is the 666 Mark 2 GMS Truth. The title of that lesson was "I have not put my sword down, not for 1 hour."
Oh,
Who smoked it? Yeah, that one.
You get Jeremiah 50 and start at 41. Bible Kushal. So brother can get that.
Could you get that much pot? I got one.
Yeah, I got it right here. You said start at 1,
No, start at 41.
41. Gotcha.
Yeah, Habakkuk 2 and 5.
No, I don't. You got it.
Yeah, this is Habakkuk 2 and 5. It says, yeah, also, because he transgresseth by wine, he is a proud man. All right. And man, the simple action of him invading Venezuela the way that he did shows absolute pride. I'm the man. This is my world. I do what the heck I want. That was the mentality that was portrayed via this, taking over Venezuela.
Right.
It says, neither keepeth at home. Man, come on. This guy has embassies everywhere. Esau Edom's all over the place, man. That's why anywhere you go, he is the main person. He was the Egyptians. He was the Vikings.
Right.
Esau Edom claims everything that was great in history.
Yeah. When you go into the process of them setting up the Venezuela attack, they've been planning it for months.
All right. You see Micah 2 and 1.
Yeah.
This had to have been strategically planned out for a minute.
Right. They had everything up and running. The only thing that they were waiting for was the weather to align so that they could go up in there and do their thing. They've been ready to infiltrate Venezuela.
Mm-hmm.
You got it, Doc.
It says, who enlargeth his desire as hell and is as death and cannot be satisfied, but gathereth unto him all nations and heapeth unto him all people. So he tries to get a little bit from everybody, man. And in doing so, he's pissing everybody off. He's making enemies with everybody around the world in his never-ending search to fulfill his empty void that he can't fulfill. I don't know how to put it, But this Edomite man, since the Lord allowed him out of the Caucasus Mountains, has been on a crazy spree trying to take everything over.
Right.
Yeah. That's why you can see the links between this and the Roman Empire.
Yep.
You look at Alexander the Great and everything he took over, they're trying to do the similar thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
That was it, bro.
Yeah, and it's offending a lot of people, so to speak. So much so to the point where now the heathen are going to prepare for war.
That's right.
So let's get that in Jeremiah 50 now, Bible Show.
Yep. Gotcha. This is Jeremiah 50 and verse 41. And it reads, behold, a people shall come from the north. And
right, and that people is speaking about the Russians. All right. When you go on the map and you look at, the country that's at the most northern part, for the lack of a better term, it's Russia. Go ahead.
And a great nation and many kings shall be raised up from the coasts of the earth.
Read that part again. And many kings shall be raised up from the coast of the earth. All right. The reason as to why this, gathering is going to happen, for the lack of a better term, is because they all have one thing in common, and that's hating the rulership of Esau.
That's right.
It makes perfect sense because that's the only time people can get together, when there's a common enemy.
Yep.
Right. Which is now Esau.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Continuing on, this is Jeremiah 50 and verse 42, and it reads, they shall hold the bow and the lance. They are cruel.
And like, what's the bow and the lance? They're the missiles, man.
Yep.
And like we again, Going back 2 years ago, January 1st of 2024, that was a date where BRICS pretty much opened the door to a bunch of countries to join a part of that, man. You know, and one of the things that BRICS gave to those countries that joined them was a free fucking missile. All right, go ahead.
God. Once again, it's Jeremiah 15:42. Then it reads, "They shall hold the bow and the lamb. They are cruel and will not show mercy.
Mm-hmm.
Their voice shall roar like the sea, and they shall ride upon horses. Every one put in array, like a man to the battle against thee, O daughter of Babylon. The king of Babylon hath heard the report of them, and his hands wax feeble.
Right.
Anguish come."
Like I said, his hands wax feeble. You know, Esau sees all this happening, man. You know, again, Esau has embassies everywhere, and more importantly, he has intel. All right. And as he sees this great gathering coming up, again, like we read in Revelation, the 12th chapter, now he's moving with great wrath because he knows that he has but a short time. You know?
That's right.
Yeah, real quick, it said that the appearance of them are like horsemen, you know, and when you consider what horsemen is, it represents power. And those horsemen are explained in Joel, the 2nd chapter. If I could read it real quick, just so Jake could understand the crucial
Yeah.
amount of 200 missiles being shot here on Babylon the Great, you know, and
Kanye,
200 missiles.
yep.
Say it again.
Just get to the point with that precept.
This Joel is 2 and 4. It says, the appearance of them is as the appearance of horses, and as horsemen, so shall they run.
Ooh.
Yep. Yeah, man. So this is what's coming down the pipeline, you know?
Yep.
And like we said earlier, within everything that Esau is doing, you know, as us brothers understand the truth, Esau is justified in everything. You know, this is his kingdom, but within how prophecy is moving, all right, Esau is now being pinned against a wall, and he's being shown for who he really is. You know, again, Esau has been given authority to rule over the earth 2 times, you know, and every time he's dropped the ball significantly to the point where everybody's now irritated at what he's done to the earth, man, you know, and the world is in hopes of looking for new management. As Elder Ariala always says, the earth is in need of new management.
Yep.
You know?
Mm-hmm.
Got one more. This is Revelation 9 and 16. And the number of the army of the horsemen were 200,000. And I heard the number of them. And I saw the horses in a vision, and them that sat on them having breastplates of fire and jackson and brimstone, and the heads of the horses were as the heads of lions, and out of the mouth issue fire and smoke and brimstone. You got it.
Con. Yeah, and that's a depiction of what John the Revelator saw, all right, which is, again, the fulfillment of what's going to happen to America, which is thermonuclear destruction. Okay? 200 million missiles. All right? As we always say, that's an overkill when it comes down to how America is going to look like. You know, within Esau's different studies, they've shown that one missile will pretty much just do the job. But 200 million? Yeah, man.
And like you've been saying, that's a justified judgment though unto the wicked though.
Hell yeah. Come on. Yeah, Esau has what's coming for him.
Yeah, God.
Con. There was a little, yeah, Con, Baba Kusho.
God, I got you. This is Jeremiah chapter 50 and verse 43, and it reads, "The king of Babylon hath heard the report of them, and his hands waxed feeble. Anguish took hold of him, and pangs as of a woman in travail. Behold, he shall come up like a lion from the swelling of Jordan unto the habitation of the strong. But I will make them suddenly run away from her. And who is a chosen man that I may appoint over her? For who is like me? And who will appoint me the time? And who is that shepherd that will stand before me? Therefore hear ye the counsel of the Lord Yahweh, that he hath taken against Babylon, and his purposes that he hath purposed against the land of the Chaldeans. Surely the least of the flock shall draw them out. Surely he shall make their habitation desolate with them.
And if I could add real quick, within the way of how America is going to start moving, America's military and their whole means of how, their system is governed is going to be too widespread, man. Again, Trump made the point that he wants to take Greenland, and when you look at Greenland in a map, it's pretty, it's not too far away, but again, Esau is in a position where he's spreading out the military. All right. Now, when you do your history concerning the Roman Empire's fall, one of the reasons as to why it fell was because their military was too widespread, to the point to where when there was somebody infiltrating the Roman Empire, the military was too far gone to go and help,
Mm-hmm. Jumping back in.
Finish on the last verse there, 46.
This is Jeremiah chapter 50 and 46, and it reads, "At the noise of the taking of Babylon, the earth is moved, and the cry is heard among the nations."
Man, and that's, again, this is the condition of what we're going to see happening to America, man. All right? The heathen are making moves, all right? Because like Yawana read in that, what'd you do? It was like an article? Or
I put in the video and I had to like break it down. Like,
oh, by AI?
Yeah.
Oh, damn, come on. Shit, AI, pretty much broke everything down, man. The heathen are going to be in a position where now they're making things happen to where they're going to infiltrate America because of all these unrighteous dealings that they're creating.
God. And could I get a quick one too in Jeremiah 50 to add to what you just thought
Go
about?
ahead.
Jumping back up earlier in chapter in verse 9, that's right there bringing out, ultimately what the nations are going to do, following the Lord, first and foremost, the Lord guiding these nations unto, taking out that vengeance on this wicked ass land of Babylon the Great.
Yep.
This is Jeremiah 50 and verse 9, and it reads, "For lo, I will raise and cause to come up against Babylon an assembly of great nations from the north country, and they shall set themselves in array against her. From thence she shall be taken. Their arrows shall be as of a mighty expert man. None shall return in vain." And yeah, it's beautiful because the Lord, I forget what it is. There's a precept that says when the arrows are shot, who will make them come back? Who's been able to make an arrow come back to the archer's hand or back?
Second Ezra 15. Second Ezra 15.
Second Ezra, that's what it was.
I'll get that real quick.
Come on, the water, yeah. Well, yeah, that's what that's ultimately going into. It's showing you that the Lord's guiding the nations.
I got it at.
Yeah,
okay.
God.
This is Second Ezra 16, and I'll start at 5. Plagues are sent unto you, and what is he that may drive them away? Mm-hmm. May a man drive away a hungry lion in the wood, or may anyone quench the fire in stubble, which when it has begun to burn? May one turn away the arrow that is shot of a strong archer? The mighty Lord sendeth the plague, and who is he that can drive them away?
Yeah, man. So once again, it's been prophesied. This is of the Lord. This is of the Lord's mouth. The Lord has spoken it, so it will be done, and it will happen. Once again, that's proving, we're not to tarry. That these prophecies are coming to pass now, man. It's something that is it's of the utmost importance for us as the true believers of Yahweh Shem Yahshai to realize what time we're in, man. This it's going down, man. He's mustering, the nations are being gathered, and they're already talking. And because we have the internet and everything, everyone's seeing what everyone's doing and what everyone's saying and how everyone's feeling now. So it's been put on Front Street now. What's happening? So there's no excuse to not know what times we're in right now.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. If I could add to us, it makes us joyful, man,
Yeah, God.
because we actually see what's gonna happen. You know, we see how this chess game is gonna play because we understand how the Heavenly Father's game is, so to speak. You know, how he lures out the player to this side, how he's gonna, you know, we understand how the Heavenly Father operates, man. You know, but everybody else is in a conundrum where they don't understand anything.
No.
You know, all they know is that America is, you know, good, and that's as far as they go.
That's
You know,
I got
that's
one.
real good. Mhm.
we'll go back to this video after your precept.
Okay. This is Jeremiah 49:10. It says, "But I have made Esau bare,
Mm.
I have uncovered his secret places, and he shall not be able to hide himself. His seed is spoiled, and his brethren and his neighbors, and he is not." You know, so Yahweh Shem Yahushai in this age of information is making it clear and known to everybody who Esau Edom is. You know, he's the devil in the flesh, man, who cometh not but to steal, kill, and destroy. All right, even in the news today, at work, I think it was like CNN or something. They were like, "Oh, we know what this is about. They're fighting over war again. We're not going to send more of our young men to fight these oil wars." And but they're aware that these wars are fought for resources, and they don't understand it to the extent that we do.
Yeah.
All right, but they can see that this
White
is
man's
Esau's
at it again.
is bullshit. It has nothing to do with drugs. It has everything to do with resources and oil.
Yeah.
But the world and even their own citizens are turning against Esau.
Right.
And that's when it's really bad when your own citizens have turned against you.
Yeah.
That's why I don't expect him to let his foot off the pedal, but to keep going. To keep going faster.
Yep.
Because if he doesn't take control of this, it's fucked.
It's gonna get out of hand.
All right, so he's gonna try to seize the opportunity, but the Lord is gonna come in and throw a monkey wrench in his thing, man.
Right.
Come on.
Yep. That's a good point, bro. Because if the heathen really were in a spirit where they wanted to take America, they would have already done it. But they understand the set power and authority that Babylon has, man. And the legacy that comes with fucking Esau.
Yep.
They know yeah, of course they have to know. They have biblical scholars. They know not to. How does the scripture go? Not to basically not a. It goes kind of like don't attack an Edomite because he's gonna get like back at you.
Oh yeah, the curse of Cain.
Yeah, the curse of Cain. That's what it is.
Yeah, this nigga got leprosy.
Yep.
Right, but if brothers have any, brothers got any precepts?
Yeah, I got one back in that Jeremiah 50.
Come.
And you could jump to verse 20. Dang. Yeah, verse 21. Matter of fact, you used to jump at verse 20.
Yeah.
Can you do think?
Yeah, it says, verse 20. In those days and in that time, saith Yahweh, the iniquity of Israel shall be sought for, and there shall be none. And the sins of Judah, and they shall not be found, for I will pardon them whom I reserve. And that is a major focal point when it comes down to the time of Jacob's trouble, because as we're doing what the Heavenly Father requires us to do, just understand that, you're going to be justified. You're going to be vindicated when these things come. Verse 21. And remember and consider how it says, whom I reserved, because this is talking about the elect. Verse 21. Go up against the land of Maranatham, even against it, and against the inhabitants of Pekah. Waste and utterly destroy after them, say Yahweh, and do according to all that I have commanded thee. Okay, and Pekah and Maranatham have meanings to it, meaning that you can apply it to America in its conduct, because Maranatham means double rebellion, and I believe that Pekah means visitation. So the Lord's about to visit the place that is in double rebellion upon the earth. Okay, and that's America. That's Babylon the Great. All right. It says, verse 22, a sound of battle in the land and of great destruction. How is the hammer of the whole earth cut asunder and broken? How is Babylon become a desolation among the nations? Okay. And as you see them on the pinnacle, soon you're going to see them at the bottom, being back in the state that the Lord created them, the basis of men. Okay, because Esau, Edom is that turning of the tables that we're recognizing right now. And as he's been able to, we got another clip, Lord willing, we get to it, that shows these other nations uprising against Esau and saying that, dang, in particular, this dude, right? Dang, what am I thinking? I'm thinking of two videos. Salakia, lost my train of thought, but basically these other nations are ready to destroy the uneven cut that they get, because so long as us being in America being in the roaring 20s and they were making their money off of the plantations and so much and so forth. Now, as you see the economic shifting, these other nations want a fair shake. They see that they could do, whether it's CO2 emissions or, whatever it is, trading, buying or selling, they could do better on their own. That's the saying in the world. I could do bad on my own.
Right.
Jump to verse 24. It says, I have laid a snare for thee, and thou art also taken, O Babylon, and thou was not aware. Thou art found and also caught, because thou hast striven against Yahweh. Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, hath opened his armory and hath brought forth the weapon of his indignation. For this is the work of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai of hosts in the land of the Chaldeans. So the Lord's about to open up one of his, major weapons on this side, the armory, which is ICBM thermonuclear missiles, and he's going to just destroy America at a time that they're not aware. And when you consider the citizens, Bread and Circus has left them in that catatonic state to where they don't, as the Yahweh Shai said, you can discern the signs of the sky, but you can't discern the signs of the times. They don't understand that this is very, very a critical time. It's like, can I play this one real quick video? It's from this brother named, the brother's name is, I'm gonna get it right now. Right? The brother's name is the Hopeful Elect 3. Oh, select.
I don't know why everybody feeling like this can't never be us. We can be the people who get bombed next. Nobody is looking at the bigger picture here. Everybody just going on about their days, not even understanding how much shit that's going on around them. They just going on about their days, going to work every day. The shit is normal. This shit is not. We could be next. We not what these people do. Shit, it's just not normal, y'all. It's not normal, and I need people to really lock in and see this shit. It's only one way out of this, and I've been said it 1,000 times. I'm tired of saying the shit.
Oh, that's it. Yep. Nothing to be say on that. The Spirit hopped on her to let Jacob understand, as is spoken of in Joel the 3rd chapter. That the second chapter, that your sons are going to prophesy, in dreams.
Yep.
Okay, that's exactly what's happening right now, and the Lord's allowing his prophets to tie it to the scriptures, as until America's through, and it's a day of reckoning. Long, as they say in the world, the roosters have come home to roost. You got it.
Yep. So let's go back to this video and listen to this last little bit. All right. Now, within this point, I'm pretty sure he starts talking about how, how America, when they did that whole Venezuela act, it was unconstitutional, and how if America has the ability to do that and not have to go through the legal process of declaring war, then why should Russia have any? Why should Russia have to do that?
Yep.
So let's listen to this real quick.
UN, the credibility collapse. Now let's talk about the legal and institutional damage. Under the UN Charter, military force against another state without Security Council authorization or an imminent threat is prohibited. This is foundational. This is the principle that supposedly prevents great powers from invading weaker neighbors. The United States violated that principle. And when confronted, the response was essentially, so what? Multiple.
Again, like we said earlier, this is Esau's kingdom. You know, he could do whatever the hell he wants, but now it's putting the heathen in a position like, okay, I'm going to do the same thing then. You know? But this is also going to escalate the fact of the 10 horns coming up against the whore, man. Let's real quick, let's actually get that. That's the last precept that I have on my list also. Revelation 17, and let's start at 15.
17. All right.
Hey, Salaki, can you hear anything in my background?
No.
No.
I can't hear anything. Okay.
Done. I got you. This is Revelation chapter 17 and verse 15, and it reads, "And he saith unto me, the waters which thou sawest, where the horse sitteth, and are peoples, and multitudes, and nations, and tongues."
Right. So this has been the set foreground of where the Heavenly Father has put Esau. You know, on top of everybody, the whole world has been given into the hand of the wicked. You know.
Yep.
Go ahead.
And the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore.
Right, which the 10 horns is NATO and the EU. All right. Yep. In other words, they're vassal states that give their power in terms of their economy, certain agricultural things that they bring to the table to aid America's system, the beast system, in other words. All right. But again, as we're living in a time where America is making all these out-of-pocket moves, where he's coming down with great wrath, a lot of these vassal states are now being put in a strain where they're suffering, man. All right. And they're not taking it too lightly. And now they're in a mindset where they're looking for other alternatives to get some kind of protection from. All right. And that protection is going to come by way of the nations that are associated with BRICS. A good example of that is Turkey. Turkey was once upon a time a part of what? NATO. But now who is he with? He's with this old buddy, Russia now, man.
Yep. Can I get this really quick? It goes into the video. It says, "The fear is the root of the hatred. The video explains the allies see the U.S. attacking a sovereign nation and realize we could be next. The trust is broken. The hatred isn't just emotional. It's a survival instinct. They must destroy the whore before she destroys them."
Beautiful. And again, when you go into the history, what has Venezuela done to America? Fucking nothing. Venezuela is a fucking poor country, man.
And then if I could say, bro, the U.S. has time and time again put Venezuela and what's his name that they captured, Maduro in duty games.
Oh yeah.
And in actual missions where you have to kill them. Yeah. So this has been portrayed for fucking a minute now, you know? Yeah. So where the little kids that grew up playing that shit are now adults and ready to be sent to fight, you know?
Right.
So I mean, this has been a long time in the making, man.
Right. Yep. That was a good point in that damn chat, man. That chat is got the spirit on it. Go ahead, Ike.
Okay, Slakia. Back in Revelation chapter 17, verse 16, and it reads, "And the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh, and burn her with fire."
And that's the spirit of what is going to escalate within this whole tension of what you see in the world right now, man. You know, watch, you're going to see a lot of NATO members start getting the fuck out of there, you know? And if they don't get out in time, guess who's going to hop up in there?
Yep.
This orange nigga, man.
Yep.
Like fucking Dave Chappelle said.
Orange nigga.
Yeah.
Because that's who Esau. Esau is the real nigga, man. You know, we found out within the set characteristics of what our people portray. The head of who tops it and does it to the T is the so-called white man, man. You know, Jake may do it in neighborhoods and to his own people, but Esau, he does this shit worldwide, right? Where he dominates countries and he completely obliterates them. You know?
We'll just do it one more time, because this is who he is, you know?
Yeah.
This is who he is, man.
Stole that shit. That's what I do, nigga. Fuck, nigga, I stole that shit. And I stole it. Like, bro,
That's Esau, bro. That's what
Yeah.
Esau do. He's, you know?
Mhm.
Come on, you got it, bro. Sure, man, that's Esau. He is the real nigga, you know?
Yeah.
Hey,
Don't let that clean-shaven face portray something that isn't really there.
Right.
This guy is a filthy, lucrative little creature.
Mm-hmm.
Bro.
Hey, real quick before I finish, Yaquab, I got a quick article. It's gonna be real quick. I'll just read right through it, right to the point.
Yep.
But it's basically backing up everything. Even the little video Yawanan just brought out right now. On like what the mindset of this wicked ass king that we have. Well, this is his mindset. This is how he's speaking to people for them to hear throughout the four corners of the earth. They're hearing this man speak this way now. This is an article from ABC News, and it was going into like basically last Saturday when they were asking about what went down, why did he go up in there and do what he did to Venezuela. But this is what he was basically saying. He said, Trump said Saturday his administration is not afraid of boots on the ground in Venezuela while the U.S. runs the country and ensures the flow of oil. Speaking to reporters on Air Force One later in the day, Trump threatened a second wave on Venezuela if its next set of leaders don't behave. He added that Colombia is very sick too, like Venezuela. So you're seeing he's already starting to he's giving the nations, he's telling them right now, he's basically pressing them like, I'm coming for your ass next. He's telling them, you're not doing what we want, so I'm coming over there next. We're gonna run everything basically. He's trying to further his kingdom. He knows he has a short time, as the scriptures say. Here, right here, it says regarding Iran, he said if they start killing people like they have in the past, I think they're going to get hit very hard by the United States. Once again, this is spreading out the armies of Babylon the Great, spreading them thin.
Again, America is right now in the Ukraine war. They're in the Middle East. They're in Venezuela. And fuck, they're probably in other places as well too.
Yep. Khan, jumping back in, it says he declared Cuba is ready to fall. So that's another nation he's saying, they're through.
Yeah.
Okay, and this is the last paragraph right here. It says, and Trump reiterated his desire to annex Greenland. We need Greenland from a national security situation, he said, mocking Denmark, a NATO ally. He's mocking his own allies now.
Right. You don't give a fuck about Greenland.
That's crazy. Yep. And its ability to defend the semi-autonomous territory under its control. To boost up security in Greenland, they added one more dog sled. But yeah, basically, this is how this so-called king is speaking towards his allies. He's basically on the stage in front of the whole world, telling you, we're gonna do what we're gonna do now. This is my kingdom. I'm ruling. This earth is mine to rule. And he's showing you. He's not showing you not only through his words, but through his actions and the power that he's been given.
Con.
Yeah,
I got some. Con, you got it, Doc. I'm sorry. Finish your point.
Oh no, I was gonna say you brothers got it. You got it. Yeah, Con.
Yeah, I got this from chat. I was gonna bring it out earlier, but Spirit, since you brought out Greenland, Doc, this is an article concerning how the event of what would happen if America takes Greenland. It says the real fear, normalizing imperial behavior. Greenland's leaders understand something deeper. If the U.S. can absorb Greenland for security, then powerful states can absorb weaker ones for stability. That's the exact logic NATO was created to oppose after World War II. So, in other words, America is pretty much undoing what the whole purpose of creating NATO was for.
Mm.
It says under the 5th point, why the US can force this without consequences. All right. And again, the consequence that we understand is the retaliation of the 10 horns, man. Even if America could militarily do it, which it doesn't need to, but it will, according to prophecy, NATO would fracture. Daniel, the 2nd chapter, the 10 toes, part iron and part clay. All right. NATO would fracture. European trust in U.S. leadership would collapse. The U.S. would look no different than the empires it criticizes. All right. That's why U.S. officials backpedal quickly whenever this topic resurfaces. All right. Matter of fact, oh man, let me keep reading. It says, bigger picture, why this moment matters. This connects to a pattern you've noticed before. Empires test boundaries when influence is slipping. And that's exactly what's happening to America, man. You know, the image of the beast, the influence that it once upon a time had of being able to speak great things and do what it wanted is slowly but surely being taken from it, man. It says allies become nervous when the protector starts acting like a ruler. Power shifts expose cracks in alliance.
I got one.
Con, this last part, and then you got it, Doc. It says biblically, this aligns with Daniel 2 and 43. Iron mixed with clay, strength with cohesion, alliances that do not cleave even when bound by treaties. Man, and that's exactly what's going to happen, man. All right. A lot of these countries that are a part of NATO that are bound by a treaty are going to start, you know, coming off just like iron when it's mixed with clay. You know?
Yep.
You said you had a precept part, Dom?
Yeah, Khan. This is Isaiah chapter 25 and verse
7.
Yeah, Khan. I get straight to the point. Verse 7, and it says, "And he will destroy in this mountain the face of the covering cast over all people, and the veil that is spread over all nations." Let me read that in the NLT. It says, "There he will remove the cloud of gloom and the shadow of death that hangs over the earth." You got it.
And that's exactly what's happening, man. All right. A lot of these countries that joined part within NATO, a lot of them didn't count the cost, you know, and didn't really understand the set mechanism of what America would use them for. All right. But now they're waking up to that reality and they're in a spirit where they want to get up out of there, you know, and start joining other countries that are more concrete in the terms of not being like Esau that switch up from one day to another. Come
I got one.
Yeah,
This is solid. Real quick. Salakia, real quick.
Go. You got it.
Real quick. This is Salakia. Ecclesiastes chapter 19 and 25. "There is an exquisite subtlety, and the same is unjust. And there is one that turneth aside to make judgment appear. And there is a wise man that justifieth in judgment. And there's a wicked man that hangeth down his head sadly, but inwardly he is full of deceit, casting down his countenance and making as if he heard not. Where he is not known, he will do thee a mischief before thou be aware. And if for want of power he be hindered for sinning, yet when he findeth opportunity, he will do evil." You got it.
Yeah, and this is the whole conclusion of what we see Esau doing now, man. You know, where he's not known, he will do mischief. This is what Esau is starting to impose to the world for the sake of him, you know, further extending the bound that he has had set, so to speak. You know? You said he had a precept too?
Yeah, because you had made the point that, you know, the EU, you know, the 10 horns is going to, you know, depart from Esau because, you know, he's acting dumb. They're going to go with somebody who has, you know, who has some smarts behind them.
Right.
This is Isaiah 19 and 14. It says, the Lord Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai hath mingled a perverse spirit in the midst thereof, and they have caused Egypt to err in every work thereof, as a drunken man staggereth in his vomit.
Mm.
And that is what the U.S. looks like right now, a drunken man staggering in his vomit. You know, he made a mess over there, man.
Yeah.
And now they're like drunk, trying to figure out what the heck to do. They don't know what they're doing.
Right.
You know, they're in a state of panic because they see that they no longer have the upper hand.
Yeah.
So they're acting sloppy, you know? And this is all the Lord. The Lord is, you know, putting this in DJT's heart to do these things, man, which is ultimately, you know, going to cause prophecy to further escalate. All right.
That's right.
Come on.
Yep. Beautiful. We didn't finish Revelation 17.
No.
Not sure. We
Done.
had this. Okay, we were on the last verse or the last
Okay,
two.
cool. Yeah,
Um,
17. Yep.
Yep. Go ahead, Ak. Yep, you got it.
This is Revelation chapter 17 and verse 17, and it reads, "For the
Matter of
heavenly
fact, Salaki, I started 16 again.
Got you. God. This is Revelation chapter 17, verse 16, and it reads, "And the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire.
Mm-hmm.
For the heavenly Father hath put in their hearts to fulfill his will, and to agree and give their kingdom unto the beast, until the words of the heavenly Father shall be fulfilled."
And again, like we were saying earlier, all right, all this is according to prophecy, man. You know, although Esau may talk a good one, at the end of the day, the Lord made Esau.
Yep.
You know, every move he's making is all constructed by Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai for the controversy of Zion. All right, like we Parthon read it early in Jeremiah 50 and the 20th verse. All right, the elect are found with no more sin because now their faith is sealed within having been dyed with Yahweh Shai, so to speak. All right, and from that point on, the said gears of World War III has been moving for the purpose of reconstructing the world under the principle of righteousness, man.
That's right.
Okay.
I'll jump you back in. This is Revelation chapter 17 and verse 18, and it reads, "And the woman which thou sawest is that great city which reigneth over the kings of the earth."
That's right, man, which is America. All right. Babylon the Great, which is the country that you see being the wicked. Okay. Doing all these crazy ass acts. All right. Esau's going down, man. All right. So
I got him, bro.
so with that we can end off with the precepts that brothers got. That's pretty much all I had.
Yeah, it's directed straight to Edom.
Okay.
This is Obadiah 1 and 15. It says, "For the day of the Lord Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai is near upon all the heathen. As thou hast done, it shall be done unto thee. Thy reward shall return unto thine own head." You know, and just as Esau in the past was, you know, the conqueror, now it's their turn to be conquered.
Yeah.
You know, and how Esau in the past was the one to, you know, be the first nation to attack another nation with an atomic bomb. Now they're going to be the first nation to be attacked with nuclear missiles. Okay, now the tides are going to be uno reversed, man.
That's right.
But thus saith the scriptures.
Yep.
All right. Kind of say, bro.
Cool.
Yeah, the Lord has one out for Esau.
That's right.
Okay, and as we can see based off his actions and how sloppy he's moving, that means he knows he has but a short time, and that also means that Yahweh Shai is going to be here in no time.
That's right.
That's right, brothers. We're almost out of here, man. 2026. The Wadi Halbashim Yahweh Shai 2026 has started off with a bang.
Yep. That's right, man. Brothers got any other scriptures or points you want to make?
Yeah, I got one. I got just a scripture. If Masha Pot, you got one?
No, you brothers got it.
Okay. This is 2 Ezra chapter 11 and verse 38. And when you read this, chapter, you can apply it. It applies to it's talking about the Greco-Roman Empire, but this last couple of verses are applied. You can apply it to America.
Right.
This is Second Ezra chapter 11, verse 38. It says, "Hear thou, and I will talk with you." It's like you don't hear no echo.
No.
Okay, come. It says Second Ezra chapter 11 and 38. Hear thou, I will talk with you, and the highest shall say unto thee, Art not thou it that remaineth of the four beasts whom I made to reign in my world, that the end of their time might come to them? And the fourth came, and Salakia, that's talking about the vision that Daniel received, you know?
Yep.
It says, and the fourth came and overcame all the beasts that were past, and had power over the world with great fearfulness, and over the whole compass of the earth, which much wicked oppression. And so long time dwelt he upon the earth with deceit. For the earth hast thou not judged with truth. For thou hast afflicted the meek, thou hast hurt the peaceable, thou hast loved liars, and destroyed the dwellings of them that brought forth fruit, and hast cast down the walls of such as did thee no harm. You know, therefore is thy wrongful dealings come up to the highest, and thy pride unto the mighty. The highest also looked upon the proud times, and behold, they are ended, and his abominations are fulfilled. And therefore appeared no more thou eagle, nor thy horrible wings, nor thy wicked feathers, nor thy malicious heads, nor thy hurtful claws, nor all thy vain body, that all the earth may be refreshed and may return, being delivered from thy violence, that she may hope for the judgment and mercy of him that made her. You got it.
Yeah, man. And again, like we said earlier, Esau has been given everything to create a beautiful world. You know, he's been given the heathen. More importantly, he's been given the authority to rule over the nation of Israel, man. All right. When you go into the history of wherever the nation of Israel was, we always made shit crack. You know, look at Egypt. The only reason Egypt was such a beautiful kingdom was because of the nation of Israel. And the same thing with America.
That's right.
You know, but look at the condition of the earth right now, man. Everything's fucked up. You know, the heathen are pissed. The heathen are supposed to be slaves. But look at how Esau got them right now, man. Pissed the hell off, you know, cussing at them. Again, echoing the words of Elder Ariala, the world needs new management, man. All right? It's going to come by way of Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai destroying Esau and setting up Yahweh Shai so that righteousness and peace can finally be established.
That's right.
And that's exactly what's going to come, man.
That's right. And if I could say, finally, the ones who the promise was promised to are going to receive it.
Yeah.
You know, because right now, you know, you got Esau, who's butthurt because he didn't get the promise, all right, and Ishmael,
right,
who was supposed to get the promise but didn't because of Isaac. You got both of these guys that were supposed to but didn't, fighting for the promise.
Yeah, they got blessings.
Yep.
But they didn't get what we received.
That's right.
Yep.
And now that's a point that, you know, the beloved big brother Mike Allah had made in a video that it really stood out to me.
Yeah, bro.
And I can't wait until the ones who are really promised the promise receive it. You know, and finally everybody just shuts up, you know, and gets in order, bro. And that's what's coming soon via Yahweh Shai, you know.
Yep.
The world will rejoice, yeah, when the righteous are in rule, man.
Yeah.
The wicked be put back in their pits, man. God.
That's right, man. So with that, you know, as always, Lord willing, you brothers and sisters are edified. But again, man, we're living in some very, very beautiful times. You know, we see Esau's kingdom going down the drain slowly but surely. His empire is crumbling. You know, right in front of us, man. So it's very beautiful to see what we can see, man. Because everybody doesn't have the ability to see the world by way of prophecy, but we do. So as our elder Barak Allah always says, if you're going to count any of your blessings, count the blessing of the Heavenly Father opening your spirit to the truth, man.
That's right.
Yeah.
All right.
Mhm.
So with that, as always, we want to end off with giving all praise to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham Rakwadash. Again, double honors to the apostles, the bishops, the elders of Great Millstone. Peace and blessings unto the elect. Shalom.
Shalom.
Shalom.